community. The next class covers how to bring about that change.
We ended up settling on communities that don't have libraries, and many of those are lower income.
The proliferation of medical marijuana clinics and the need to regulate that, and in East Hollywood, for example, we have over 50 in a 3 square mile area, which is insane.
Something nice for the community, because not only would it bring business, but it would bring jobs.
Organizers aim to spread the word about Civic University, and eventually they will offer a certificate course in local government at Cal State LA, because they believe that citizens with a little knowledge and participation can change not only laws, but their entire communities. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
For more information on Civic University, you can call the mayor's office at City Hall or the Pat Brown Institute at Cal State LA. It's been a couple of years since a familiar Hollywood building was officially registered as a National Historic Monument. Now those who made it possible are getting some much-deserved recognition. Siobhan Burton reports.
You've likely seen or heard of this school before. It's the alma mater of several celebrities, including Carol Burnett, Judy Garland, and John Ritter. But Hollywood High School is actually a star in its own right, having made it onto the National Register of Historic Places.
1, 2, 3. All right.
While the school has been on the National Register since 2012, bronze plaques are just now being unveiled to thank those whose hard work helped place the school on the coveted list.
Hollywood High makes me proud a lot more than I make Hollywood High proud, I promise you.
Los Angeles Unified School District Board Vice President Steve Zimmer, himself an alumni, was among those whose efforts were recognized. Council members Mitch O'Farrell and Tom LaBonge say Hollywood High School is among the city's many landmarks.
For me, Hollywood High was this mythical place, and I think Hollywood and Hollywood High School is mythical for people the world over.
Congratulations on this recognition, and Christy, there's nothing like our high schools, there's nothing like Hollywood High. Hail, hail, hail Hollywood High!
From Hollywood, I'm Siobhan Burton for LA This Week.
It's a one-of-a-kind art show tucked in an out-of-the-way corner of downtown LA. We're talking about the Brewery Art Walk, which takes art to a new level. Anna Marcos shows us why.
The largest art colony in the country is throwing its doors open to the public. Twice a year, the 800 artists who live at the brewery give Angelenos an up-close look at their art. The artists tell us why there's no show like the Brewery Art Walk anywhere.
There's not a lot of commercial going on here. You're not going to see all of the restaurants and everybody else kind of turning it more into a street fair. This is strictly about art. When you go door to door and you walk inside someone's home and you see the work that they do day and night, what they're sacrificing for, what they're, it's really inspiring.
Visitors get treated to a wide range of artwork, from paintings to sculpture to performance art. Artist Kevin Raleigh tells us how he got started as a mixed media photo artist.
I took a little black and white photo, covered it in oil paint, took some tissue paper and rubbed it off, and that was the first what I call oilgraphs, this hybrid between photography and oil paint.
From the laid-back atmosphere to the old commercial warehouses turned artist studios, everywhere you look, art trumps commercialism here. But if you want to buy a piece of artwork, that's all right too. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
For more information, visit breweryartwalk.com. One of LA's most recognizable streets, Sunset Boulevard, is showing its age, but as Tara Gibson reports, improvements are finally being made to help the iconic street preserve its star power, and it's starting first in Echo Park.
Thank you for coming to the first of many exciting streetscape improvements, not only in the 13th District, but all along this stretch of Sunset Boulevard, along the historic Route 66.
The Sunset Boulevard Streetscape Improvement Project will focus on beautifying the city by fixing broken sidewalks, replanting new trees, installing new benches, distributing new solar-operated trash receptacles, and repainting crosswalks.
It's every one of our responsibility who has a civic leader to make sure that we work hard, first and foremost, to make sure that our communities are safe. Not only that they're safe, but that there are places that make us proud.
Congressman Xavier Becerra says the taxes Angelenos have been paying for the Sunset Boulevard Streetscape project since 2009 are finally giving back to the community.
That is government in action, and that is government working for the people.
Kelly Erickson, an Echo Park resident, says the cracked sidewalks have been a big issue in the community, and she's hopeful the Streetscape project will make the necessary improvements.
We're really excited, looking forward to safer and cleaner streets in Echo Park.
I'm Tara Gibson, reporting for LA This Week.
The Streetscape project will stretch 1.4 miles down Sunset Boulevard between Everett Street and Rosemont Avenue. And the sidewalks surrounding Echo Park Lake also get a complete makeover. You can weigh in on LAPD Chief Charlie Beck's application for a second term as head of the police department, and almost 1,000 students sing together in a choir. These stories and more in City Beat. Los Angeles Police Chief Charlie Beck has submitted his application to the Board of Police Commissioners for a second term as police chief. The commission will be holding 2 community meetings to receive public input on the chief's application. The first meeting will be held on June 11th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Westchester Rec Center at 7000 West Manchester Avenue. The second meeting will take place on July 8th with the time and location to be announced. Emails are also welcomed at reappointment@lapd.lacity.org. The commission has until August 19th to vote on the chief's application. The Los Angeles Department of Recreation and Parks just broke ground on a $1.5 million sidewalk improvement project along Echo Park Avenue. The concrete sidewalk surrounding the entire outer perimeter of Echo Park Lake will be replaced, creating easier access as outlined in the Americans with Disabilities Act. Councilman Mitch O'Farrell says the project will create a safe passageway for visitors and improve access at one of the most popular city parks. Residents in Porter Ranch have yet another reason to get fit, a free outdoor gym for all ages. City leaders held a ribbon cutting for the Holly Burnson Memorial Park Outdoor Fitness Zone, which includes a rowing machine, push-up station, leg press, elliptical machine, and chest press.
We have definitely enjoyed this park for jogging and running and picnicking, and now this is absolutely wonderful that we have a place to exercise and stay even more fit.
The fitness area is part of the Department of Recreation and Parks' effort to install fitness zones for park users throughout the city. And the Walt Disney Concert Hall recently hosted the 25th Annual High School Choir Festival. The festival is one of the largest high school choir festivals in the nation, showcasing the vocal talents of 900 students from 28 Southland high schools and a massive chorus conducted by Los Angeles Master Chorale music director Grant Gershon.
These are all schools from the LA area that have strong, vibrant music programs. And that is, of course, for the teachers, a huge challenge. And so the point of this festival is to shine a bright light on these incredible programs that are happening and to feature them here at Disney Hall.
Students from LA's Venice High School and the Ramon Cortines High School for the Arts were among those participating. As we've regularly reported, the city is committed to opening 50 new parks, and recently community members gathered to accept a large check towards a park in Chinatown. Siobhan Burton has the story.
Los Angeles County Supervisor Gloria Molina was in Chinatown to present Councilman Gil Cedillo with a $950,000 check towards developing a new park in the area. It's all part of the Department of Recreation and Parks 50 Parks Initiative.
Recreation and Parks will be the operator of the park. We'll be working with the Bureau of Engineering on the design, and we'll do the operations and maintenance, and it'll be a park in perpetuity.
The new park will take this uneven slope of unused land at the corner of Ord and Yale and turn it into a park with landscaping, irrigation, stairs, walkways, and fitness equipment. It will also provide a passageway from the outer edge of Chinatown into the heart of the community, adding a safety benefit for all residents, especially children.
We got a bunch of great kids, and we're really excited. I think they're very excited. They're going to, this is going to augment the areas for them to play, to come and, see the community. Particularly very excited how this interfaces with our city library and then with our schools.
And what do kids think about the new park in the neighborhood?
You guys all happy about this park?
Yes! The children were mostly excited that the park would bring a new element of fun to the community. I'm Siobhan Burton for LA This Week.
In this week's list of things to do, a Grunion Run, an LAPD car show, and the LA Wine Fest. On Friday, May 30th, celebrate Southern California's very own Grunion fish by attending the Grunion Fishtival from 7 p.m. to midnight. See the fish that come out of the sea at the Cabrillo Marine Aquarium at 3720 Stephen M. White Drive in San Pedro. In honor of the silver grunions, wear an aluminum hat and you'll get in for free. Otherwise, admission is $5 for adults and $1 for seniors, students, and children. For details, go to cabrillo-marineaquarium.org. On Saturday, May 31st, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., head over to the Warner Center Park at 5800 Topanga Canyon Boulevard in Woodland Hills for LAPD's 11th annual Still Saving Lives car show and safety fair. You'll get to see an LAPD helicopter, the LAPD motorcycle drill team, as well as the SWAT, K9, and bomb squad units. Admission is free. The event is being presented by the LAPD Valley Traffic Division and the Valley Traffic Advisory Council. Go to vtac-vtd.org. And the 9th annual LA Wine Fest is happening Saturday, May 31st and Sunday, June 1st at Hollywood's Raleigh Studios. With hundreds of wines, craft brews, and spirits on offer, the weekend-long festival is a relaxed, welcoming setting for people to explore the world of wine and more, alongside LA food trucks, live bands, and handcrafted goods. Raleigh Studios is located at 5300 Melrose Avenue. For times and ticket information, go to lawinefest.com. And that's a look at some upcoming things to do. Phase 1 of a massive golf course rehab is now complete. The city's own Rancho Park Golf Course driving range has gone from dirt to green turf. Anna Marcos takes us there.
The turf is now a rich emerald green. The fencing is state-of-the-art, as are the dividers and other golf amenities. But not long ago, this driving range, owned by the city's Department of Recreation and Parks, was little better than a big dirt field.
The fencing had been kind of a jungle gym of fencing.
It had just a little bit of grass, but the rest of that was clay out there. Nothing but clay, dirt. If the wind came up, the dirt was flying in everybody's faces.
Welcome to the newly renovated Rancho Park Golf Course driving range. A $1.2 million project paid for entirely with golfer fees.
We understand that it's actually already bringing in more revenue, and the fact that the city is running our own golf facilities instead of contracting out facilities like this. We're actually bringing in more revenue. We're getting more participation.
Councilmember Paul Koretz helped mark the official grand opening of the new driving range, which has been open for a while now. Koretz even tried his hand at the tee line.
Well, I'm not much of a golfer, but hey, I got lucky and got off a good drive.
Everyone, it seems, has fallen in love with the new driving range, whether they carry teddy bears on their golf clubs or they tee off like old pros or are trying it for the first time.
Golf is a royal sport to me, and I want to learn it.
The adjoining Rancho Park Golf Course has hosted many Los Angeles Opens and PGA tournaments. Now the driving range has also stepped up its game. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Phase 2 of the Rancho Park Golf Course renovation will include improving the restrooms and other nearby buildings. Thousands of students learned a valuable lesson about the impact trash can have on our environment as they hit the sand for a major cleanup. Yana Kay explains.
We found a plastic bag, we found wood, we found bottle caps, plastic, tin foil.
Others even found batteries. And that's only a small sample of what these fourth graders picked up on the beach during the 21st annual Kids Ocean Day cleanup at Dockweiler State Beach in Playa del Rey.
If we didn't pick up trash today, all this will get washed to the water and it will just choke other animals and kill them.
That's right. Nearly 4,000 students, teachers, and volunteers scoured the sand looking for trash that may be harmful to the environment and to sea animals.
I found this plate that is like a plastic plate, and I thought that it might scratch them, so that's why I picked it up.
The message of this Ocean Day event is clean me up. And the goal is to show kids the damage littering can cause on our environment and oceans. And the kids seem to be hearing it loud and clear.
There is more awareness of the effects of trash on the street. They're getting that the trash goes down to the ocean. More and more I'm seeing that, yes.
Now, most of these kids are using this cut-out 1-gallon milk bottle. It makes it much easier for them to clean up the trash off the beach.
We believe very strongly that by working together through zero waste, through recycling and reusing, that we can make a better Los Angeles and a cleaner Los Angeles.
Officials hope the kids' strong connection to the ocean will benefit our overall environment. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
More than 8,500 kids participated in Kids Ocean Day across the country. And that's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
During California's next major earthquake, an epic battle will take place. Don't fight a brick. The brick will win. DareToPrepare.org.
Hi, I'm Craig Irwin in Los Angeles.
Hi, I'm Trenton Irwin, and you're watching LA City View, Channel 35, Our City, Our Channel.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Blumenfeld, Bonin, Buscaino, Cedillo, Englander, Fuentes, Weezer, Carrasco, Corning, LaBanche, Martinez, O'Farrell, Parks, Price, Wesson, Leavenworth, President Okor, Mr. President.
First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Mr. Buscaino moves. Mr. Blumenfield seconds.
Next is committee resolutions for approval.
Mr. O'Farrell moves. Mr. Parks second.
Mr. President, today is Tuesday, and now be the time for the flag salute.
Thank you very much, Mr. Buscaino. I know you have a special guest with you, and if you all rise, please rise for the flag salute to our country. Mr. Buscaino.
Thank you. Colleagues, we have members of the journalism class from Marymount College, the waterfront campus in downtown San Pedro. I have Alexander Sanchez, who's going to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, everybody. It's only fitting that Mr. Buscaino. Madam Clerk, what's before us?
Mr. President, there's a request to continue items 1K and 15F to June 10th.
Without objection, so ordered.
Item 1 is an item noticed for public hearing. The Department of Building and Safety reports that items 1A, F, and G may be received and filed inasmuch as the liens have been paid.
So ordered on those called out. On the balance?
There are cards on item 1.
So on item 1, then we'll call those that hold that for special. Next item.
Items 2 through 5 are items for which public hearings have been held.
Members, any specials on 2 through 5? Mr. Weezer.
Number 2, please.
Number 2, thank you. Any other specials? See none on the balance?
Excuse me, Mr. President, for item number 4, a motion is required. You wish to hold that item.
Okay, Mr. Parks?
Number 4 held so we get explanation what that is.
4 called special by Mr. Parks.
Yes, Mr. President, you wish to vote?
Let's vote on the remaining ones. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
13 ayes. Next.
Items 6 through 14 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes required for consideration.
Let's open up for the consideration. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
14 ayes. Any, Mr. Parks?
Yeah, I'd just like to show a no vote on number 8.
Okay, but let's see. Are there any specials on those first? Patrice?
There are cards on items 7, 8, 9, and 14.
We'll hold those special. Mr. Parks, 8 will be considered later. On the balance, seeing no other speakers on the queue, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Okay, next item.
Item 15 is an item noticed for public hearing on the continuation agenda.
On the notice on that, are there any cards on that?
Yes, there's cards.
Okay, so hold that special. Next.
Items 16 through 18 are items for which public hearings have been held.
16 through 18, public hearings have been held. Members, any concern on those? Seeing none, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
14 ayes. Very good. And what's before us now?
Items 19 through 25 are items for which public hearings have not been held.
19 through 25. Any cards on those?
Cards on items 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, and 25.
Okay, so let's vote on 23. Open the roll on 23. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
14 ayes. Very good. Yes, Mr. Blumenfield.
Item 25 to be continued for 2 weeks.
25 continued for 2 weeks without objection.
That's until.
Letter B.
Letter B.
Yep.
Letter B.
Okay. Thank you.
And that's until June 10th.
June 10th. Very well. What's before us right now?
Mr. President, that brings council to items called special or presentations.
Presentations will be it. real quick here, and I just wanted to mention, members, we've been informed by Kenny and our sound crew there may be some problem with the buttons that you push, so feel free to jump up like they do on Sunday night when you watch those guys in London and the Parliament, the men and women of the Parliament, and they yell out. So here we go right now. We're going to have a special presentation by the great councilman of the 9th District for some very special people. Please welcome Councilman Curran Price.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, we have a unique group with us this morning. Jumpstart is a national early childhood organization working toward the day every child in America enters kindergarten prepared to succeed. The Jumpstart Foster Grandparent Program is a proud member of the federal program, Senior Corps, which engages adults 55 and older in volunteering 15 to 40 hours a week. Jumpstart trains community volunteers by implementing a research-based curriculum that enables them to serve preschool-age children in low-income areas. They work with a team of other volunteers to read songs, play games, and foster children's learning and confidence, helping them to develop the language and literacy skills that they need to be ready for school. From 2011 to 2014, the Jumpstart Foster Grandparent Program has reached more than 650 children and engaged 90 older adult volunteers throughout the LA area. Today, in observance of Senior Corps Week, we're celebrating the impact of the 55 Jumpstart grandparents and the vital contributions they're providing to our community. Let's give them all a warm welcome. Please stand.
Thank you, Councilman Price and the LA City Council for having us here today. We know that there's an education crisis here in Los Angeles and across our nation, children entering kindergarten not ready to succeed, especially in the communities that need the most support. We also know that older adults are retiring at record rates, sometimes not having the ability to retire or wanting to make some use of their free time. And today we have paired both ends of the spectrum in this program to make a lasting impact. Our senior volunteers here could be at home watching The Price is Right, and instead they're out there every day, 3 to 5 days a week, 15 hours or more for a whole school year, helping children succeed. The relationships that they make, the bonds that they make last with these children for a lifetime, and the language and literacy skills that they provide help children be prepared for kindergarten. And we know once they enter ready, they have a much higher chance of succeeding. So we thank you for this time to recognize these amazing senior citizens who give their wisdom, their expertise, and to the community, and who are giving back day in and day out to help children succeed. Thank you very much.
On behalf of a grateful citizenry here in Los Angeles, we want to acknowledge the Senior Corps program and Jumpstart for its outstanding contributions to our community.
Thank you very much, Mr. Price. Great job. Give him a better hand. Mr. Koretz, your time has come. We're going to hold Mr. Koretz's special recognition. Mr. Koretz, I'm going to do item number 7 right now. I'll give you a little time. Thank you so much. Item 7, Madam Clerk, could you please call that? Mr. Sachs from Redondo Beach, Arnold Sachs.
My time has started, sir. Thank you. That's even better. No, thank you. Good morning, Arnold Sachs. This is Hecla. and the pilot program, which is payment in lieu of taxes, which is the same program that the DWP is under. And nobody really knows what the setback is or what the offset is, whether the taxes they're paying or this payment they're making is equal. But I regret, because DWP really isn't under that program, only the Department of Water is under the pilot program. The Department of Power pays nothing, which is really kind of funny. You need to check into that, especially with the budget hearing they're going to approve today. And pilot, payment in lieu of taxes. Why can't we find out what the sums are? And just real quick for the students here, watch the tally board. When they vote, they don't have to vote.
The speaker should stay on topic.
Thank you, Mr.
Go back to sleep.
Hey, that's a comment that I don't like, Mr. Sachs. Please be respectful of the city attorney and the procedures here. No other speakers on the queue. Open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
14 ayes. Next item, number 8. Sean Murphy. Call it, Madam Clerk.
Item number 8, call special for cards.
Sean Murphy.
Yeah, good morning, Pro Tem. I'm against this item. Sorry.
Thank you very much, Sean. No other speakers on the queue. Open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
14 ayes. Next item will be item 15, please. Item 15.
Item 15, call special for cards.
Sean Murphy.
You need me to sit up front? Item 15 is a good item. I support it.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. No other speakers on that? Open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
Good. Madam Clerk, let's go to item 20, please.
Item 20, call special for cards.
Mr. Walsh.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org or at blogging at J. Walsh Confidential, tweeting at Hollywood Dems. This concerns the Digital Divide pilot project. You have, incidentally, greatly improved the Wi-Fi here at City Council chambers. As you know, when you do a good job, we promote you. When you do a bad job, we wrap your knuckles. HollywoodHighlands.org. We are all in favor of the pilot project. Go visit our endorsements now.
No other speakers on this? Open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
It's one card. Yeah, hold on here. We're going to check. Mr. Koretz, are you ready? Special presentation by the fine councilman of the 5th and the 11th, Mr. Paul Koretz and Mr. Mike Bonin. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues, and thank you to Council President Wesson for making this presentation possible. I know we had to postpone our original presentation from Friday to today due to the opening of the carpool lane on the 405. I'm here today with my colleague Mike Bonin to celebrate and proclaim the month of May as Older Americans Month. It was created in 1963 by President John F. Kennedy. It was first called Senior Citizens Month. President Jimmy Carter later changed the name in 1980. In 1963, only 17 million Americans had reached their 65th birthday. However, a third of seniors were living in poverty at that time, and there were few programs to meet their needs. Interest in older Americans and their concerns was growing back then, and in response to this need, Congress passed the Older Americans Act of 1965, which was part of LBJ's Great Society. If it wasn't for this act, millions of seniors wouldn't be receiving the vital services that they get today. Historically, Older Americans Month has been a time to acknowledge the contribution of past and current older persons in our country, including those who have served our armed forces. This month is celebrated across the country through ceremonies, events, fairs, and other activities. And as part of this commemoration, Councilmember Bonin and I introduced a resolution that proclaimed May 15th Senior Fraud Awareness Day in the city. And we celebrated with a Senior Fraud Awareness Day event at the Felicia Mayhood Senior Center, co-hosted by the Stop Senior Scams program, run by Adrienne Omansky and her team of actors. And their actors perform skits showing how seniors can get scammed. They perform across the city. And even after our last event, I got a lot of calls from constituents thanking us for supporting the program. Now, normally, social services are administered by the county, but in our case, we have our own Department of Aging. In fact, we're the only city in California to have such a department. And our general manager, Laura Trejo, is a leading voice for seniors in the LA area and nationwide. She was selected to represent the state of California at the White House Conference of Aging in 2005, and we're lucky to have her representing our city. Also joining us today from the Department of Aging are three fantastic people: the Planning Director, Jennifer Wares, Budget Director, Dale Osborne, and Assistant General Manager, James Don. In December 2012, federal sequestration went into effect, which cut a number of programs, including $1.6 million for Los Angeles, money for the Senior Meals Program, and we would have had about 1,000 seniors who would have gone without a home-delivered meal, and 2,000 who would have been turned away from congregate meal sites. So we worked with our colleagues, and in May 2013, we made sure we funded this so seniors wouldn't lose their meals and wouldn't be cut. This year, we also had to cover 3 multi-purpose senior centers slated for cuts of $225,000, affecting Councilmember Weezer, Councilmember Bonin, and ourselves in my district, and Budget Committee found a way to get this done as well. And I'd like to commend our colleagues on the Budget Committee for protecting our seniors and restoring the Senior Meals Program. So let's give my Budget Committee colleagues a round of applause for their leadership on this issue. Now, most of the work at these senior centers is done by nonprofits who provide the services, including the Senior Meals Program. One of those organizations who serve constituents in both my district and Councilmember Bonin's is Jewish Family Service of Los Angeles. This is their 160th year of existence, and they work very hard for our seniors. We have 3 people from their organization who I'd like to recognize. We have Diane Snyder, Director of Food and Nutrition Services for all the Senior Meals programs at Jewish Family Service, and she gets food out to our most vulnerable seniors. We have Marina Burkham, who's visiting us from West Hollywood and is the director of the West Hollywood Comprehensive Service Center, and Susan Belgrade, director of the Freedom War Center. Let's give them all a big hand. And this Thursday, in recognition of Older Americans Month, Freedom War will host its annual Senior Health Fair, which will be on John F. Kennedy's 90th birthday, the man who started Older Americans Month to begin with. And before I introduce my colleague Mike Bonin, I'd like to recognize 2 other organizations that are some of the strongest advocates for seniors in our city. They're the City of Los Angeles Council on Aging, comprised of a group of residents of the City of Los Angeles who are 60 years old or older. They're a volunteer group that advises the Department of Aging on all matters relating to the preparation and implementation of the city's planning and service area plan. The Council on Aging actively seeks new members from all 15 council districts, and the Los Angeles Aging Advocacy Coalition has a mission of preserving, protecting, and strengthening access to quality care for older persons and their families and caregivers. And to represent them, we have Dawn Lovelace, the Civic Engagement Coordinator, as many of others who have joined our audience. So let's give them all a round of applause for all the work they'd like to do. Now I'd like to introduce my colleague, Councilmember Mike Bonin.
Thank you. My thanks to Mr. Koretz for arranging this presentation today and for being such an incredible champion of the issues of seniors and the older members of our community. Paul pretty much said almost everything possible there is to say on the subject, so let me just say two things off the top of my head. We have a tendency often to think of seniors as potential victims. We have a tendency often to think of seniors as frail and in need. And there's much we need to do to honor our obligation to seniors, but I know a hell of a lot of seniors who are kicking butt and taking names every single day. I know seniors who are running neighborhood councils. I know seniors who are opening and keeping alive small businesses. I know seniors who are running community-based organizations. I know seniors like my parents in their mid-70s who are doing as much to raise and provide for their grandchildren as they did for their children 30 years ago. I know seniors who are constitutionally incapable of doing anything except contributing more and giving back and helping build and helping make Los Angeles better. Our seniors today, if we do anything for Older Americans Awareness Month, is to say thank you. Is to say thank you for building our schools, for building our businesses, for creating and nurturing the next generation of Los Angelinos and Californians. Thank you for building this. Thank you for everything that you've done. Let's make Older Awareness Month about acknowledging everything that we need to thank you for. Let's make it about gratitude for all of your contributions, not just the ones you made yesterday and not just the ones you're making today, but the ones that we know you're going to be making tomorrow. So thank you very much.
Mr. Bonin, Mr. Koretz, thank you. I just want to make one quick comment. 40 years ago, I was on Mayor Bradley's Youth Council. In this building on the 21st floor, the first dialogue that we had was a representative mayor, the late, great Bill Elkins, who said, one day you're going to be on the Senior Citizen Committee, so get ready. And I just turned 60 last year, so I'm right behind you. Good job, everybody. Good job. Mr. Koretz, you're always there. Mr. Bonin.
And sadly, I joined you on the Youth Advisory Council about that time. I think neither of us qualify any longer for that category. But now we're on the other end as AERP members and seniors, and it's my honor to present a certificate for Older Awareness Month, and I wonder if all the folks that are here from all the organizations could come up and stand with us as we present this certificate.
Please join the council members in the center right there. Very good picture there. And Sherry, if you get that great shot.
May want to go back and take some more pictures.
Folks, please collect your belongings. Follow the council members to the back, please. Okay. For some additional photos. Collect all your belongings. Follow the council members to the back.
Good to see Laura Trejo, our fine general manager. Thank you. Give her a big hand, Laura. Thank you. Madam Clerk, please proceed.
Item 9, call special for cards.
Mr. Arnold Sachs.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Arnold Sachs. Budget, this is on the budget, the hard work that the Budget Committee did. You know, there is an item on your agenda here, item actually 24, and it refers to AB 1290 funds, which isn't included in the budget. And we just heard that stirring speech by Mr. Koretz about how the Budget Committee managed to find the funds to maintain the city's elderly programs, $225,000 for this and that. You know, item 24 mentions $250,000 for a field office in AB 1290 funds. Again, not part of the budget. Bus bench revenue, not part of the budget. Pipeline oil revenue, not part of the budget. Billboard revenue, not part of the budget. So when do we find out, when do citizens of the city find out about those numbers that aren't part of the budget? And keep in mind that those numbers don't just appear once, but every year they come back. They're added to the city coffers. Wait, excuse me. They're not added to the city coffers. They're added to the council coffers. And they're not even added to the council coffers. They're added to the council person's coffers. And how it's spent? Well, Mr. Weezer spends it on salary. Some of the other council members spend it on salary for their staff. But the public doesn't get to know about that. The public knows about $30 million missing from the DWP or $40 million missing from the DWP. They don't know about the $110 million that's spent by the DWP. But that's the hard-working Budget Committee. You know, hard-working Budget Committee. That's an oxymoron if there ever was one. So, ask your council person if you need some money for a project. You got some AB 1290 funds. You got some pipeline revenue funds, bus bench revenue funds, billboard revenue funds. Got any? Got milk?
That completes Mr. Sachs of Redondo Beach's comments. Thank you. No speaker on the queue. Let's open the roll.
Excuse me, Mr. President.
Yes.
A motion is required.
Oh, well, let's have a motion. Mr. Koretz from the Finance Committee. Thank you. I know, Mr. Kokorian. I'm looking at Mr. Koretz behind you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
There's
Yes,
nothing
Mr.
up here.
Koretz is engaged right at the moment, so I'll take it for him.
Let me make an announcement, members. This is not working up here, so jump up when you want to speak. I can't see your name when you punch it. I apologize. Thank you.
Members, the budget resolution that's before you is consistent with the motions that we passed approving the mayor's budget with the Budget Committee's recommendations and the various motions that we discussed last week. So with that, I would move its approval. And I would also just want to take the moment to remind you, so that you don't get overly concerned about it, that you will see over the next few days on each of our council agendas, you will see agendized the mayor's veto of this budget resolution. That doesn't imply that he actually is vetoing it. It's only there as a placeholder in the event that such should happen. So don't get concerned about that. It's standard practice that we include that in the agenda throughout the time period that a veto is possible. So I would move approval of the budget resolution.
Thank you very much. No speakers raising their hand. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
15 ayes. Forthwith on the matter. Thank you. Next item, 14.
Item 14, call special for cards.
Arnold Sachs.
Yes, thank you, Arnold Sachs. And Quimby fees. Quimby fees are also part of a pilot program. They're payment in lieu of fees for other projects. But what's really interesting is that maybe you might have read in the newspapers a couple of different stories. One that occurred in San Pedro. They're going to start and revitalize a park with Quimby fees. Like $2 million, $3 million, Mr. Buscaino? And then the parkland that they just purchased over here at Temple and First Street, Temple and Spring, or First and Spring, $8 million in Quimby fees. This is part of
Mr. Krikorian.
San Pedro.
I got it.
My time is running.
Keep it running, Arnold. Make the point to the issue that's on the agenda. Not all over the city, specific to this track map.
The issue
Thank
on
you,
the
Arnold.
agenda is Quimby fees, sir.
The
and
issue
how
is
they're
the track
spent.
map for this.
And part of that issue is Quimby fees. It's part of the issue. You know, is it on the agenda?
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. No other speaker on the queue. Open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
Thank you. 15 ayes. Mr. Englander, thank you.
Mr. President, actually, if we can reconsider 14B and hold that for 2 weeks, but we need a reconsideration.
Madam Clerk, reconsideration on 14B. Let's open the roll for reconsideration. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
15 ayes. So now we'll just continue that.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. You want to announce that?
It's June 10th.
Thank you very much. June 10th. Next item will be for Mr. Weezar. Is that correct? Item 2.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I'm pleased to recommend the approval of Ms. Bricia Lopez to the Central Los Angeles Area Planning Commission. She is a small business owner. This, coupled with her activism in the community, makes her a great value to this commission. I'm confident that her experience and abilities will bring added value to this Central Area Planning Commission. She's here. If you could please stand. And unless anybody has any questions for her, she is the owner of a restaurant, well-known restaurant in the Mr. Cedil's district or Mr. Wesson's district, one of the two, Wesson's district, and is also very active in the community. So I ask for your aye vote, and she's here available for any questions. Should anybody have any questions? Thank you.
Any questions to the nominee? No questions to the nominee. Let's open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
15 ayes. So ordered. Next item. Item number 19.
Item number 19, call special for cards.
Sean Murphy.
Item 19 is a good item. I support it.
John Walsh.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. This is a very serious issue. This is the Fernando Valley Rescue Mission, which exploded 4 or 5 buildings simultaneously. It was arson. The police are investigating it as arson. And as you know, LA is the #1 arson capital of the world. They come here from Iraq to learn how to commit arson, then they go back to the Middle East. And I'm asking any of you, if I am wrong, get up now and say it wasn't arson. If I am wrong, get up and say that it was a natural fire. And now the police and now the insurance company is expected to pay off. On my website, you can find it was the worst, most horrendous fire in the history of Los Angeles, and it was set on purpose. If I'm wrong, correct me. HollywoodHighlands.org.
Next speaker, Mr. Herman.
Not one of them said anything.
Good job, John. Good job, John Walsh. HollywoodHighland.org. Good job, John Walsh. I'll keep it brief. Batman Returns. To the families displaced by the tragedy of the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission. Are we not, Mr. LaBonge, in a crisis where people who lose their possessions, their homes, and residency at the 4 major fire created on May 3rd, 2014, and displaced 28 people, including children? Children are displaced, and the city has no solution to find them placement in a home. So in 1 minute, Batman has the issue. Fix the problem, provide them housing, and find them some donation money to recover. Batman Returns. 1 minute, and keep your measly 13 seconds.
No other cards. Open the roll. Mr. Krikorian, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to speak to this matter and thank the members for all that you've done so far on behalf of the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission, particularly my colleagues in the Valley, every one of whom has stepped up and worked really hard to try to help these people who were displaced during that fire, but also to help the ongoing mission that this mission performs throughout the year. Over 40,000 meals served every year. People helped throughout the year, not just those who take shelter, but also the homeless and people trying to avoid homelessness throughout the valley. Month in and month out are helped by the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission. But this devastating fire not only displaced these families, it also destroyed their entire inventory of warehoused thrift store items that fund their operations. It destroyed their food pantry. It destroyed their vehicle fleet. So in every way, the operation of the rescue mission has been set back severely. So we've taken many steps. The business community has stepped up. As I mentioned, every council member from the Valley has made contributions to this. But I wanted to bring this matter to your attention because on Thursday, every member of the city family has an opportunity to help. We're going to be having a donation drive on the South Lawn of City Hall from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you approve the matter before you today, we will be. So it'll go from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We have volunteers from the city family, including firefighters, who will be there receiving donations of clothing, shoes, blankets, bedding, toys, canned goods, and as well as cash contributions that you'd like to make. This is your opportunity to be able to help rescue the mission. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your leadership, Mr. Krikorian, on this issue here. Let's open the roll on this, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
15 ayes. Next item, please. 21.
Item 21 calls special for cards.
Sean Murphy, please. Murphy, pass for Mr. Murphy. John Walsh, please.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. This concerns a loan to the LA Colorado Terrace Project. It was involved with HUD. Again, this is senior citizens housing. When you do a good job, I am the first to commend you on what you're doing here. But when you allow the Valley Rescue Mission, and you saw Mr. Krikorian agree with me, the cause was arson, and the arsonists are laughing at you. And to the arsonists of the world, come here and set our city on fire. You'll
You're
never
off
get
topic,
caught.
Mr. Walsh.
HollywoodHighlands.org.
Next speaker, Mr. Herman.
Start the clock, please. This will just take a few seconds. Item 23. Is that right, Mr. LeBon?
21.
We're referring to item 21. HollywoodHighland.org, John Walsh pointed out this concern of consideration by Mr. Weezar, who's running for elected official in District 14 against Ms. Diaz, right? But on topic, Mr. Herman, relative to the authorization, we execute an agreement, an arrangement for a loan agreement. But we need Nadine Diaz for Council District 14 once again. Nadine Diaz, 1 minute. Save your time, Mr. LeBon. Have a good
No other speakers on the queue. Open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
Next item will be number 22.
Item 22, call special for cards.
Mr. Walsh.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. This concerns making technical corrections and transferring $1.1 million. Again, we investigate these, and when we see that they are perfectly legal, as this is perfectly legal, this concerns field equipment. It concerns the General Services Department, which does a pretty good job. And when you do your job, you are commended. And when you are allowed arson fires to happen and don't investigate them, then I talk about it. HollywoodHighlands.org.
Ms. Ramirez.
Thank you. I'd like to applaud Council Members Krikorian and Blumenfield for the transfer of $318,000 from the unappropriated balance fund to the General Services Fund for the field equipment expense for the cost of Los Angeles Fire Department helicopter repairs to prevent any in-flight mechanical dangers. Thank you for being on high alert and conscientious about our LA Fire Department kick-ass chopper pilots. These expenditures are a necessity to first and foremost protect all our city pilots, whether they are the Los Angeles Fire Department or the LA Police chopper pilots. Pilot safety is a priority. Furthermore, this is a public safety matter because we know that the fire department chopper pilots also medevac injured or near fatal human beings to urgent and trauma centers. Both the LAPD chopper pilots and our Los Angeles Fire Department chopper pilots and Sheriff's Pilots Department are in the business of saving lives. They are our lifeline, and truly they are the city's guardian angels. May they always safely go airborne, and may they safely touch down on the helipads. I'd like to make one more suggestion, and that is to provide all our city chopper pilots, including the county chopper pilots, a stewardess on board. We love you, we love you, we love you, chopper pilots, and whip them puppies good. Thank you.
No other speakers on the queue. Open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
15 ayes. Next item, number 23. Set.
Mr. President, for item 23 has already been adopted.
All right, we have a card. Please note that card. 23 has been adopted. Next item, 24.
Item 24, call special for cards.
Mr. Walsh.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. This issue here, I've lived in the same address in CD 13 since Peggy Stevenson was my city councilman in 1976. I don't live outside the city. You're doing a terrible, and this is redevelopment money, leftover redevelopment money. We killed redevelopment, and we will keep it killed as long as Brown is in office, Jerry Brown. As far as our city councilman, I won't even mention his name. He's not the worst city councilman we ever had. That was Mike Wu, followed by Jackie Goldberg. But this is
Mr. Walsh,
Mr. President, the speaker appears to be off topic.
Redevelopment project money for a storefront field office is much too much money. What are you going to put in there? A steam bath so you can cruise one another?
The President, the speaker is now off topic and should end his time.
Mr. Sachs. Mr. Sachs, I want to inform you you're out of time. Thank you very much. You could hold up public comment. No, you don't. The city clerk just informed me. Thank you, Mr. Sachs. That's okay. You're out of time. I've been informed by the city clerk.
Mr. President, we should move on to the next speaker.
Thank you. No other speakers on this item? Thank you, Madam Clerk, for informing me on that. Open the roll on this issue. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
So ordered. Next item. 25.
Item 25A, call special for cards.
Yes. Ms. Ramirez.
Again, thank you very much. We will only approve the final maps done by the city engineers if they honestly and truly include the Los Angeles Zone of Danger areas, which will include all Latino Chango gangbangers and wetback trashy infested areas. Those must be designated on the map.
Mr. President, the speaker appears to be off topic.
Iranian criminal
Ms. Ramirez, you must speak to the specific, not to the general. You're off topic.
We are dissenting because you are showing one area of maps. We are asking for another area.
This
of
is
the maps
specific
to
on this
reflect
issue,
the
Ms.
true
Ramirez.
community's dire dangers.
Like to ask the CLA to assist anyway, the speaker to teach them. This is specific to an issue. Anything on this item on Oxnard?
Specific to the public safety issues because we law-abiding American citizens want to know what areas are safe.
All right, you're off topic. Thank you, Ms. Ramirez. You're off topic. Thank you. If you want to have questions on that, go to the ropes. Thank you. Thank you, Sergeant. Let's vote on this item. Open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
15 ayes. Next item will be item number 1.
Item 1, call special for cards.
Yolanda Rosala, is that correct? No address? Yolanda, you want to come forward, please?
Please translation, please.
All right, we will handle it. You need translation?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Please come forward. Please speak.
Sí, estoy acá porque recibí un citatorio por un trabajo que tengo que hacer en mi propiedad. Y en realidad,
I'm here because I received a notification that I have to do work on my property.
Y yo estoy muy de acuerdo en hacer ese trabajo. Yo soy la más interesada en terminar ese trabajo, pero yo tengo mis permisos acá conmigo. Yo fui a sacar mis permisos. La primera vez que saqué permisos fui estafada y esta vez ya los volví a sacar. Pero yo pedí una extensión al inspector.
Yes, I'm the first one to be. I agree in doing these repairs. In fact, I have pulled out permits on this. I have done it previously, but they did a scam on me. So I pull out permits for the second time. And, siga, señora.
Pedí una extensión para poderlo hacer porque pude pagar los permisos, pero no tuve el dinero para continuar a hacer el porch y lo que tenía que hacer.
So I'm asking for an extension, even though I was able to pull out the permits. I need get money to do the work, so I need an extension to do the work on my property.
Ahora quiero que por favor se me dé un tiempecito más y yo soy la más interesada en terminar esto y que puedo pagar en unos días lo que se me está penalizando, pero estoy viendo en los papeles que tengo 60 días para hacer este pago y quiero saber hasta cuándo se me vencen los 60 días.
So, yes, begging you to have a small extension to do this work. I noticed on my notification that I have 60 days. I would like to know the expiration of those 60 days.
60 days. Okay. This is in Council District.
President's asking he will stand next.
Mr. Building and Safety, state your name for the record. Tell us what council district this is in. 60 days, okay. 30 days. 30 days requested by Council District 6.
Here it shows that I have 60 days of non-payment, so I just wanted to know the date of the expiration of the 60 days.
We're going to get you 60 days as requested by the councilwoman of the district. If you can go to the ropes. Thank you.
Mr. President, Ms. Martinez has requested a continuance for this matter for 30 days, and that would continue this matter to June 27th.
June 27th. Thank you so much. Next card.
And that's item 1B.
Michael Reyes. For 1D, Michael Reyes.
Yes, I'm here in regards to, I guess, I got a thing on the lien that they want to put a lien on my mother-in-law's property of where I am living at the time. This inspection happened 5 years ago, and we just received this lien notice, and pretty much it's a hardship on me and my mother-in-law to pay for this right now, but we want to pay for it. If it's money that the city has coming, but right now it's a hardship on all of us.
Good. Your councilman has asked for continuations for 2 weeks. You could go to the side, see the deputy. We'll try to help you resolve this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President, that's until June 10th.
June 10th. Thank you very much. I want 1C and Marina of Silmar O'Dells. Marina, please come forward. Monica? God, I don't see it here. Mr. Herman, sit down, please. You're disrupting the meeting. Come forward, the speaker here. Please state your name.
Yes, well, I'm Asael Ramirez. I'm speaking on behalf of my mom, Maria Ordaz.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I received these. I received a notice of hearing just a few days ago. I was aware that there was a few concerns that the inspector had in regards to the property. He did go to the property, and I had the garage and the pool and the RV that I have in front of the house inspected, and he closed the case. I know that this has been going on since 2008, apparently, but I didn't receive anything other than his concern to the property. We did speak a few times, and he did go a few times over. So I don't know what else to say. I have this lien, and I wasn't aware of it.
Hold on just a second here. Mr. Fuentes, please. 2 weeks continuation. And see the council deputy, the councilman on the side right there. Thank you so much.
And that's until June 10th.
June 10th.
For item 1C.
1C. And I have 1I, and that would be Jose and Patricia Given. Please, at 7106 South Broadway.
Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Alcazar. I'm the daughter of Jose and Patricia Giron. The reason I'm here is because I'm aware that there is a potential lien that's to be placed on the property. And I did ask for a couple of extensions. However, at this point, I haven't had any resolution. Based on my review of all documents that we received, if in fact we did receive, I never received any type of certificated letter or correspondence on behalf of the city. And at this point right now, what I'm asking is that we are going through financial hardship, and we would like to see if we could have someone help me today in resolving this matter. I would like to see if they would even consider reducing the amount.
Thank you. We're going to get a 2 weeks, Council District 9, Mr. Price, 2 weeks continuation. Please meet the deputy on the side if you would here.
Excuse me, Mr. President, this item is under item 15, which was already adopted by council. Council would need to reconsider this item and to make the continuance.
So let's open the roll for, can we do that right now?
Yes, Mr. President.
Open the roll on that for reconsideration.
It's on 15I.
15I. So yes on the reconsideration. Now let's vote on it. 2 week continuance. Vote on that as well. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
15 ayes. Thank you very much.
That's for the reconsideration, and for the continuance to for 2 weeks would be until June 10th.
June 10th. Thank you very much. Thank the council office as well. Next, we will have on item 1, Mr. Herman.
I thought I was deferred. Batman was going to be deferred, according to Mr. Johnson. So, can I get my time? Thank you. Regarding liens, are they predatory? Hear protests and appeals here in Los Angeles relative to the proposed lien for nuisance abatement costs and non-compliance codes, violations of inspection costs. So we had one against Miss Frances Landine last week, who we had a closed quorum to under item number 7, CD7L at 13535 West Penny Street, a lien for $2,294.56. The poor woman's not here today, as she sat there for 2 lousy hours by some of you individuals who had a closed quorum. Let me finish now. So again, 13535 West Penny, P-I-N-N-E-Y Street. I'm asking on her behalf that you hold it until she can come back and explain to you, as I'm explaining to Los Angeles and all Los Angelinos, look how illegal the predatory liens are. Look at the list of liens in my hand. You heard the complaints of your constituents. And Batman wants you, all of you, to understand, if you got a lien on your property, come to Los Angeles and settle the dispute. Object it so the price can come down. The price can get
Mr.
waived.
President,
Thank you, Los
Speaker,
Angeles.
That completes this call. Thank you very much. Mr. Walsh is next on item 1, pass. No other cards on these items. Open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
Thank you. So ordered. Item number 4.
Item number 4, call special by Mr. Parks.
Mr. Park.
Thank you very much. Could I have the city staff, please?
Holly, if our city clerk, please join.
Could you just give us an overview of how we got here? Because the last time I remember we were talking about a department, and now it looks like it's been changed, and then what our options are, and so we can just get a feel of what we're voting on.
Yes, I will. Harith Trivedi for the City Attorney's Office. What you have before you today is a certified initiative petition that proposes an ordinance to create an advisory health commission for the city. If you recall, several months ago, there was another separate, earlier initiative petition that was seeking to create a city public health department. That initiative, we were able to successfully have a court rule that was invalid and not submit to the voters. The one before you today is a different measure. It's an advisory 15-member commission that is to study and report back on public health issues in the city. The options before you today per the charter, as this has qualified and obtained a sufficient number of signatures to be presented to the council, are either to adopt the ordinance without alteration or to place it on the November ballot without alteration. Those are the two options that are before you today.
But if you do this option B, it's a considerable cost, though.
That's correct. As the clerk's report points out, to put it on the November ballot would cost upwards of $4 million because that's not a city-run election, that's a county-run election. So that would be a very significant cost for the city.
My final question is that the fact that we create a commission, is that mandated that the county cooperate to provide us the information that we need to be advisory?
The ordinance creates a commission and charges the commission with studying public health, attending county meetings. The degree of the county cooperation is outside the control of an ordinance that the city would adopt and is not entirely within the control of the commission, but I would imagine they would endeavor to cooperate as best as they could.
And then what size the commission, and do we have a general cost?
It is a 15-member commission, one member appointed by each council member. It's unclear what the costs are. There will be determined as the scope of the commission's work is executed.
Okay, thank you.
City Clerk Walcott, would you like to make any comment?
I think Harit covered it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Blumenfeld.
Just a question on the commission. How long, if we enact the commission, does the commission have to stay active? At what point could it be decommissioned legally?
The commission is set up for the ordinance sets it up for one-year appointments to the commission. It would go on and report annually on the state of public health in the city and the city's contract with the county. The council subsequently at a later point does have options with regard to amending the initiative ordinance if it does so as to further the purposes of the ordinance as it's provided. Subsequent changes could be by another subsequent ballot measure as well.
So after 1 year, we could reassess it at that point and see if it's...
It would remain law even after 1 year, and the commission would continue to function even after 1 year. It's not set up as just a one-year commission.
So it's set up indefinitely.
That's
there's no end date on this commission.
Not in the ordinance.
Unless the council takes an action.
Consistent with the ordinance, yes.
To end it. So the council has to appoint people each year.
That's correct.
Indefinitely.
Correct. Unless and until the law is changed.
No other speakers? Open the roll. Oh, Mr. City Attorney, hold the roll.
The matter before the council is option A in the recommendations of the Rules Committee is what's before the council today.
To vote for option A. Correct. Recommended by committee. Thank you. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
All right, forthwith on that matter. Next item.
Mr. President, that brings council to general public comment.
Thank you. John Walsh. Yeah.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. Go and see our endorsements. Ramona Gardens firebombing. Yes, one of the families was Hispanic. 3 were black. Well, the Hispanic family lived between the two black families. They were caught in the fire. Let me tell you right now, on KPFK, a black man got up on the radio, and this is what he said, and I say it to everybody. He identified himself as an MTA driver. He said, when the Mexicans moved into our black neighborhoods, we welcomed them. When we move into their neighborhoods, the Mexican neighborhoods, they firebomb us, and there is no investigation. I want every black tourist, every African tourist, anybody who's dark-skinned in the entire United States to realize that if you come here and get in the wrong neighborhood, you will be killed, and there will be no investigation, and it will be a perfect crime. And I challenge the black-faced members who are really white here, Price, to tell us what kind of investigation are we having. They were firebombed and they all moved out. It's called ethnic cleansing. And you people up here are really white people, handkerchief heads, phony blacks. You kneel in front of your Hispanic masters And if you were a real black man, you'd attack me for saying that. But you know what you are. You are garbage leaders. Judas Goat.
Hey, Mr. Walsh, Mr. Walsh.
This is under the, I have the right to say this.
Absolutely.
So shut the fuck up.
Oh, Mr. Walsh.
All right.
And I'm telling you, you are an evil alcohol. Don't come here drunk to these meetings.
This is public comment. We want to welcome Village Glen High School. This is public comment. That is Mr. Walsh. He lives in Hollywood, and he makes public comment. And the court's allowed to say anything, including things that we don't agree on. But let's welcome Village Glen High School. I'm glad it's not an elementary school. Stand up and be recognized. Thank you, Mark Ellison, the City Hall docent. Good to see you. Mr. Herman, please.
Call my name.
Mr. Herman for public comment.
Thank you. Thank you. These racial issues among Hispanics and black is out of hand in Los Angeles. And as you see, Mr. Johnson, who ran off earlier, was telling me he's going to arrest me for clapping. He's going to arrest me for standing up. He's going to arrest me for walking around as a bat when I'm Mr. Herman today. As you see, we lost a quorum last Friday, and according to the record, many of us put in for a cure and correct on Mr. Englander and Mr. Weezar about their sexual harassment. Still on topic, general public comment. And for those of you who understand politics, this is general public comment where you have a right as a constituent to come in your youth to say bullshit. We want things done for Los Angeles, Angelenos, and everyone who resides in the state of California under the Ralph Brown Act, 54963, period. So again, Ms. Nadine Diaz for City Council District 14, because Jose Weezar has sexual harassment with his staff. He paid out $150,000 of our hard tax-paying dollars for a settlement, and now he has another one with Francine Godoy, who he had sexual relationships as a married man and said it didn't happen, and it did. I got a right to speak loud as I wish under the Brown Act. And I'm not crazy like you call us. We're just trying to promote LA Live and do the badass things you do here, which is celebrate presentations, expression, freedom of speech, First Amendment right. That's right. So let's not forget Miss Francine Landon, who you guys, a veteran on a wheelchair, shoved out the door because you didn't want to have a quorum. Because you say you can have a quorum when your staff is sitting in the poop room back doors instead of sitting in your seat taking care of city business for the taxpayers. Thank you.
Daniel Geis.
Wow, how things change quickly. On May 14th, I sent a six-page letter to Ron Galperin saying that your animal adoption records were utterly fraudulent. Sometime between my letter to Mr. Galperin and this weekend, the city reduced its claimed animal adoptions by 9,100 fewer animals than you were telling the public that you adopted out just 2 weeks ago. You dropped your adoptions in the last 3 years from 97,000 to 88,000, and I kept a copy of the before and after spreadsheets. The problem is nobody has accepted responsibility and told the public why you are issuing fraudulent numbers. And by the way, while you're issuing fraudulent numbers, you're accepting hundreds of thousands of dollars, including $380,000 last week that the Pause Committee accepted. So you're putting out fraudulent information, you're accepting hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I've sent a copy of my complaint to the District Attorney's Public Integrity Division to see who's going to accept accountability for that. I hope to have an editorial out about that in the next couple of days. Now, when you speak up about animal services, you get this email that says, any New Hope rescue partner that portrays LA Animal Services in a negative way through social media or any other form of communication may have their privileges suspended. This is a reminder that you and your rescue are expected to abide by the rules. So how about we send a copy of this to the ACLU so you can tell them why criticism of LA Animal Services can warrant a suspension of your privileges. And just while we're at it, the city has been outsourcing a lot of humane decisions to Cherie Shanker, who's donated upwards of $20,000 to Mr. Galperin, to Mr. Koretz, to Mr. Krikorian, to Mr. Fewer, to Mr. Bonin, to Mr. Garcetti, to Mr. O'Farrell. Not good, guys.
Ms. Ramirez.
Thank you. This is a matter of principle. We have an epidemic of Latino Chango gangbangers and wetbacks, and Iranian criminal ring monopolies and Iranian terrorists, and African-American drug dealers and pimps, and white trash junkies and drug dealers. Incidentally, they are all involved in gang stalkings and harassment against innocent human beings while they are getting paid to do these wicked deeds. And this is because the UCLA and the high-rise buildings are engaged in unlawful hiring practices of the aforementioned criminal elements. Hence, they have contributed to the high crime rates in the UCLA and Westwood-Wilshire corridor. We are now putting the following agencies on notice: the INS, the DEA, the ATF, ICE, and the Department of Treasury for all the crimes and unreported financial earnings made from gang stalkings and harassment against innocent victims. Case in point, the ferociously noisy and unsafe drug criminal haven for psychopaths in the Wilshire Marquis high-rise building located at 10535 Wilshire Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90024. The following condo units are engaged in organized crime, pedophiles, mail theft, toxic noise night and day, criminal trespass through the balcony windows, ID theft, invasion of privacy through audio and video spyware put in victims' homes when they burglarize and vandalize, child pornography, harassment, and gang stalkings. And the condo units are Deck 05, number 504, number 605, number 704, number 804, number 1604, et al. And these condo units are in criminal collusion with the illegal wetbacks and Latino Chango gangbanging employees. And they are Hector, Daniel, Misael, Luis, Jose, Lesvin. Let's clean up Los Angeles. So help me God, we're going to change the dynamics of criminal elements. Thank
Henry
you.
Marine. Mr. Krikorian.
Mr. President, I just feel like I need to mention for the people who are here, for the general public who are listening to public comment, and the people here at home, that during general public comment, members of the public can come up and say whatever bigoted, racist, foul, despicable thing that they want from that microphone. And unfortunately, we're quite limited in our ability to constrain that kind of offensive speech. But we're not restrained in our ability to call it offensive. And so I just want to say, for the sake of the people who are here and having to be subjected to that, that kind of racist, bigoted comment from the member of the public, just because it comes from a member of the public, is no less deeply offensive.
Thank you very much, Mr. Krikorian, for that. Mr. Marine.
With that said, we all know the acronym for fully utilized constitutional knowledge and yields of unionism. And we all know the acronym for negatively implemented government group agreements and negatively implemented government group employment relationships. And we all know that the capital letters, the word with capital letters BITCH, is the acronym and process by which we bring intelligence to City Hall. With that said, it brought tears to my eye yesterday to think about how many people died before the members of this council provided them service credit and contribution credit for the hours of government service under Hackman Cole MOUs for the last 20 years. So when are you going to wake up? I've come here and give you constructive criticism for the last 4 years. And ain't a damn soul listen. Mr. Parks is on the telephone, so you know he ain't paying attention to me. Last week he had his back turned to me. And we got a history of denying workers public participation in public employee benefit plans, diverting money from public employee pension and benefit plans, contrary to California Government Code 20283, 20305 and 20306, which requires a worker to be provided participation in pension, public employee pension benefit plans upon their first hour worked after their 6-month employed for the city of Los Angeles or HACLA. As a HACLA employee, I had to swear that I understood that I would have to become a public employee, a member of CalPERS, should I be employed more than 125 8-hour days or equivalent. Now, what the hell is your problem? Wake up. You owe a lot of people a lot of money. Thank you.
Sean Murphy.
I ran into our old friend Dennis Zine yesterday, City Council. He sends regards. He was walking up and down along the Canoga Park Parade route to make sure everybody was behaved. He asked me, we talked for a while, and says, how have you been? I said, fine, sir. I'm going somewhere after this June 24th. He sends regards, Mr. LaBonge. Everybody misses him, I know. Shame on the MTA. They're going to raise the bus fares in September. This is not right. I don't approve this bus raising fares. I'm very unhappy about it. And I might as well say this now. I would be going to Ireland June 24th. My last day at City Council will be June 10th, before summer break. Thank you.
Be safe. Jose Martinez. Jose Martinez of Cummings Street in Los Angeles. Public comment card. Olga Held. 90042, Olga Hall.
Good morning, Mr. President and council members. Today I'm here to invite you to the Lumas Day, the Festival of the Northeast Los Angeles this Sunday, June 1st from 1 to 7 p.m. 11 to 7 p.m. at the Lumas Home and the Heritage Square. In this program, you will find not only what is going to happening, but bits and pieces of the history of this part of Los Angeles. Come and see and experience the rich culture we have in this area. You'll see the Heritage Square, where several Victorian houses have been transferred there and refurbished so people can step back in time and experience that era. We have the Loomis House that Charles Loomis built using the stones from the Arroyo Bed. Charles Loomis was the founder of the Southwest Museum, the first museum of Los Angeles, and the icon of this area. Charles Loomis enjoyed art, music, poetry, dance, and good food. So come and join us. We'll have all that. You can go to www.loomisday.org. And on the side point, I want to share with you, I was on the metro this morning, and a group of kids were traveling from South Pasadena to see the historical placita, and they were using the metro, the Gold Line. These other kids could be using the Metro Gold Line to go to the Southwest Museum. So think about it. What a great decision would be for you to support the Southwest Museum opening. Thank you.
Don Lovelace.
I'll pass you this.
Don Lovelace. And Mr. CLA, it's okay to pass this out. This is a great historic event at Heritage Square. Mr. Krikorian.
Mr. President, I'd like to ask that numbers 19 and 22 be sent forthwith, please.
19 and 22 forthwith. Thank you. Don Lovelace, public comment. Our next card would be last name Estrada. Dave Estrada, 90057. Thank you. That's it. Last card is Arnold Sachs, Redondo Beach, California.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, Arnold Sachs. And after Friday's Herb Wesson fashion show, you know, on today's agenda, you had several items that were considered, that were moved from 523 because you lost a quorum. And they mentioned in the agendas today that they were left on the desk because you lost a quorum. You know, public comment was left on the desk on Friday. It's not continued over. Why is that? It's part of the agenda. You just had Memorial Day services. And the idea of the Memorial Day services to honor the sacrifice that soldiers and armed forces and people have made. They make those sacrifices for the ability to have the opportunity to present a dissenting point of view. You step on that with your activities like you did on Friday. What a shame. And then you turn around, not only that, but then you brag about your accomplishments. And let me tell you something, you had a report in the city council. 40% of the city of LA is either in or moving towards poverty. Whatever you've accomplished hasn't really worked. So keep your accomplishments in the state legislation to yourself. Keep your accomplishments here to yourself. Yes, the public can get up and say anything they want, but it's not as bad as listening to the council people get up and pat themselves on the ass with all their accomplishments when they talk about what they've done for the city and how the city is this and the greatness of the city. And the city of Angels, 40% of the population is moving into poverty. And that number's going up. It's not going down. So keep that in mind when you listen to the public, because the public gets shut out. The dissenters get shut out here because everything is wonderful. It is the city of Angels, and you must be cherubs. And a lot of you are fatter than I am. Thank you.
That completes public comment. And just from a little comment back to you, Mr. Sachs. Mr. Sachs, if you come to the community meetings in the neighborhoods, instead of go back to Redondo Beach and see the face-to-face work that the council offices do, you'll have a difference in impression. I also want to welcome Loyola Marymount University. Stand up, Loyola Marymount, right there. A great class there on an exchange. Mr. Bonins, your great councilman out there. We welcome the Lions of LMU. Mr. Weezar.
Thank you. We want to welcome those students, and this is Democracy of Action. But Council President, item 21, super forthwith, please.
Super forthwith on 21. We're going to reconsider one item real quick as a recommendation. Item 1H to reconsider, please. This is a building and safety matter. Let's open the roll for reconsideration. Close the roll. We're going to continue it 2 weeks without objection, Madam Clerk. Could you announce it?
That's till June 10th.
June 10th. Very good. Thank you. Okay, members, that completes our agenda. Excuse me, is there a sergeant? You want to check with the speaker right there if there's something? Any announcements, members? Any announcements? Mr. Krikorian.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I, again, consistent with the Council's action today, I just wanted to remind everyone that there will be a donation drop-off for the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission on the south lawn of City Hall from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. this Thursday, May 29th. The mission is in desperate need of clothing, shoes, blankets, bedding, towels, toiletries, toys, canned food items and dry food items, and of course cash donations as well. If anybody would like information on that or would like to make a donation online, they can also go to www.rescuemission.org rescuethemission.org, or call my office at 213-473-7002. I also just want to take a moment again to thank Ms. Martinez, Mr. Englander, Mr. Blumenfield, Mr. Fuentes, Mr. Kretz, and Mr. Labange for stepping up and doing so much for the mission in the past weeks since the fire took place.
Thank you, Mr. Krikourian, and thank you for your leadership. It made it easiest for all to step up. I did get a call from someone to donate a commercial kitchen, so I want to put that in touch with your deputy there. Mr. Bruce Cayeno, announcement. Yesterday's a big day.
Yes, it was. I hope you all had a blessed Memorial holiday, and I know all parts of the city welcomed parades and events to honor those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for the freedom of our country, also those veterans who also served. And for us in the harbor, the USS Iowa had a great tribute, joined by Eric Garcetti, our mayor, as well as Congresswoman Janice Hahn and other electeds. As you know, the Iowa is just an incredible attraction that's part of our entire waterfront development effort. So I wanted to thank the Pacific Battleship Center for putting on an incredible program. Thank you.
I rode the elevator with Mr. Garcetti today. He had a great Memorial Day, starting with the activities of the U.S. Iowa, and then in Mr. Weezar's district, then out into the West Valley Canoga Park in Mr. Blumenfeld's district. So a good day all the way around. I was at our Forest Lawn Hollywood Hills Memorial, and there's nothing better than seeing the great, like our Horenstein from your district, Mr. Englander, who does a World War II veteran. So special. Any other announcements? Any adjourning motions? Mr. Koretz? Oh, I'm sorry, Madam Clerk.
Council has motions for posting and referral.
So ordered. Please all rise for adjourning motions. I'm going to look here on this side here, members. Mr. Koretz.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I have two adjourning motions for two notable folks that my former colleagues in Sacramento may remember or have known. One is Virginia Handley. Those of you who served in Sacramento and worked on animal issues would know that she led PAWPAC for many decades, in addition to having held many other positions relating to animal welfare in the Sacramento area. But that organization, until the last few years, was really the one lobbying for animal welfare legislation, and she was really the one person doing that in Sacramento for many, many years. She also published a PAWPAC rating that would list the legislative votes and authorship on animal welfare issues each year. She was very effective. It was a lonely and difficult task through most of the time that she was active in this arena, and so I'd like to adjourn in her memory. Also, I'd like to adjourn in the memory of John Vasconcellos, who died Saturday. He was certainly one of politics and government's great visionary and most colorful characters and great leaders in the California State Assembly. He died at 82 and had served in the legislature for 38 years, 30 in the Assembly and 8 in the Senate. He was brilliant, funny, stubborn, and amazingly outspoken and blunt. And he'd been an attorney and an aide to former Governor Pat Brown. He was a longtime chair of the Assembly's powerful Ways and Means Committee, back when such a committee existed. He was always willing to consider human psychology as a key to the puzzle in many ways, and became renowned for his willingness to take into account self-help and New Age theories, and was best known for being parodied in the comic strip Doonesbury, especially for the legislation that he created as his pet project, the California Task Force to Promote Self-Esteem, Personal and Social Responsibility. John tirelessly, bravely, and without apology took on hugely important social and humanitarian causes, including modernizing higher education, supporting and promoting needle exchange, and championing medical marijuana, including authoring SB 420, which I had the honor to co-author with him, which implemented Prop 215. He was kind yet tough, and he passed away in the company of his family and loved ones at his home in Santa Clara, and may he rest in peace.
Thank you. Mr. Huizar.
Senator Vasconcellos, I worked for him when I was an Assembly Fellow, and Mr. Koretz, when you said back then, way back then, when Ways and Means existed, that's when I worked for him. But this is a guy who gave his heart and soul to the state of California. He cared about the state deeply, and you saw it in his everyday work. And he would write weekly briefings to his staff members every week, and it was just like a manifesto every week of his thoughts and ideas about how to make the state better. Just an incredible man, and when I worked for him, I was in charge of the capital outlay program from community colleges. I was a young guy out of college, and during the when the two houses get together to talk about the budget, I prepared hard. I wanted to impress him. It was my turn. My budget item came up. I went up, sat next to him, and he taps me on the shoulder, and I said, "This is my chance. I get to advise the great John Vasconcellos on this budget item." And he looks at me and goes, every time I hit this quarter, it lands in the same spot. And so, but I was ready to answer any question he had, and that's what he wanted to show me. He did ask me a question later about the budget, but I love the guy. He introduced me to politics in a way that he showed me it was about human beings and making their life better. To see someone like him so committed, a great example for all of us. We will miss him.
Mr. Cedillo.
He was also very dear and endearing, gruff in his later years, had some interesting habits. If you were on his list, you would get an envelope and it would give you a bunch of clippings. He would read every paper from around the world, and you would get clippings from all over the world. He was his own clipping service with a handwritten note with his signature, and he would do that religiously. In fact, there was one day we were in the Senate caucus, and particularly you from LMU should appreciate this. We're in the Senate caucus. We have a huge debate. We're going over the budget or some other matter, Schwarzenegger years, and John Burton's there, and he's trying to keep his attention and focus. And Vasco is just getting the newspaper, and he wouldn't cut him with a scissor. He'd just pull him out, right? So he's just pulling him out, and it keeps making this noise, and John doesn't know where the noise is coming from, and he's trying to keep his attention, and his head is shaking around. And so then only people who know John will, what the F is that? And everybody's like, oh, panicked, right? And then Dede Alpert, Senator Alpert, just says politely, John, that's Vasco, right? And these two giants loved each other so much and respected each other so much that, John politely asked Vasco if he could hold on for a minute so that he could finish his point. Unfortunately, though, by then John had already forgotten his point, and we were left with do whatever you feel like doing. So he was a great man. He was a good friend and a great mentor, because he wanted you to be in politics for the humanity of politics and for the people of California. And he'll be sadly missed.
Thank you. Mr. Parks?
Thank you very much. I'd ask that we adjourn in memory of Velma Lee Moore, born December 14th, 1916, passed away May 21st, 2014. She's the mother of Maxine Waters, our Congresswoman, and arrangements are pending in St. Louis, and additional information will be forthcoming.
Thank you very much. Members, I ask we adjourn in memory of Herb Jeffries, who was a great singer, started in the Duke Ellington era, then later became the first African-American black cowboy in the Gene Autry era. He lived to be 100 years old, wonderful man, survived by his wife, Samantha, and children. Herb Jeffries, 100 years old. God bless him. That concludes our service today. To the people of Los Angeles in this meeting, but not outside of the community, move ahead and serve the city well and be safe. Thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned.